This lesson is centered around bioart from revolutionary scientists such as Dr. Kevin Warwick, who implanted a microchip that could pick up signals sent from the cortex for limb movement to move an electric wheelchair, as well as artists such as Eduardo Katz and his augmenting prosthetics such as third hand and third ear. We will create an image using Photoshop CS6 to combine a self-portrait and a separate appendage, which will be similar to a digital sketch like this. We will be working with two images, a portrait and a modified self-portrait. We'll begin by dragging and dropping them into Photoshop. After dragging and dropping the images into Photoshop, it is important to rearrange the layers so that the collaged image is on top. We want to delete the white space and paper edges, so we will click the section to select it. It is important that you're working on the layer you want to modify, or you'll get a wonky section like this. Deselect. Choose the correct layer and go to the toolbar and right-click on the magic wand tool and choose the quick selection tool. Highlight the white portion of the collage and press the delete button to remove it. Right-click and deselect to change selections or tools. The magic wand tool is also an option if you want to get all of one color selected at a time. If we pull back from the layered portrait, we'll see the images don't quite match up, but we can easily rectify that by choosing the Move tool and using the arrow keys on the keyboard to reposition it. Next, we will choose the eraser from the toolbar on the left-hand side and clean up the edges of the collage. Now we will use the Spot Healing Brush tool to blend the images. To do this, we need to merge the visible layers by going to Layer, Merge Visible. Now there is only one layer. Just click over the edges of the images and a dark mark will show up to tell you this is the area to be fused. You can also use the Blur tool by right-clicking the pointed finger on the toolbox and selecting the droplet. This blurs the edges, but it does take a lot longer. There is also the Healing Brush tool. With the Healing Brush tool, you first choose what you want the edges to transition to by holding down the Option button and defining a source point by clicking it. You can always change the size of the brush by right-clicking, which will bring up a separate menu to define the brush. When you are done combining the self-portrait and the limb, it will look similar to this. I noticed using a scanned image reduced the color, so I also suggest using digital images. When using digital images instead of scanned images, you will use all of the same tools, but won't have to worry about lining the two images up because the limb and the image are already on separate layers. After concluding the image manipulation process, students should create a journal entry in their sketchbooks that reflects on their process using Photoshop and describes their opinions on the pros and cons of their creation and how it may affect themselves, their family, and close friends, as well as the community and others.